The Sonora City Council will reconvene into open session. There is nothing to report out regarding the closed session of the council, so at this time I will adjourn the closed session of the council. And I will call the meeting to order for January the 17th of the Sonora City Council. And the first order of business is the Pledge of Allegiance. So if you'll stand and join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Yes. Council members: Connie Williams.
Here.
Jim Garaventa.
Here.
Matt Hawkins.
Here.
Mark Clemmer. George Segarini.
Here. City
Clerk is here. Administrator Tim Miller.
Here.
Our interim city engineer is absent. Deputy City Attorney Nubia Goldstein.
Here.
Administrative Services Director Jennifer Callaway.
Here.
Fire Chief Amy New.
Here.
In the stead of the Police Chief, Turu Vanderwill.
Here.
And Community Development Director Rochelle Kellogg.
Here.
City Clerk's report on agenda posting.
At 12:15 p.m. on the 13th day of January 2016, the agenda for this meeting was posted outside City Hall for public view.
The approval of the agenda. Do the council members have anything that question or comments or additions? Then we'll move on to the special presentations of the evening. This evening, the council will be giving out the Vision Sonora Award of Excellence. What this is an award of appreciation by the council and the Vision Sonora Committee for the owners of buildings within our historic district who have taken the time, the energy, and have spent their dollars to revitalize their building and make our downtown area more beautiful. And we thank you for that. It's a very small appreciation, but, it just takes a little bit to say thank you. And we really appreciate it. So I'm going to do these in alphabetical order, and I will come down to the podium, and if each one of you would like to say anything, you may do so, but I'll come down right now. So the award, the first one that I'm going to present is to Dick and Hazel Mitchell. Dick and Hazel Mitchell own the Bradford building, which is real easy to understand where that is because it's where the candy store is. So who doesn't love that building? And the award states Vision Sonora Award of Excellence is presented in 2017 to Dick and Hazel Mitchell. 48 South Washington Street is the address of their building, and it's for caring to improve the appearance of historic downtown Sonora. So if you would please come up and accept the award. Thank you so much. If you'd like to say anything, go right ahead.
Well, we spent a lot of time renovating the building. As probably everybody knows, we had the streets blocked for a long time. But we managed to get the face of it totally done, new windows all throughout. We also did a new roof, which hadn't been done for some time. And as you all know, there's the tenants inside have done massive improvements from the beginning, from when we first purchased the building. And it cost a whole lot of money, but it was our wish that we preserve Sonora to its best height that we possibly could. So, in lieu of that, my husband and I had to do most of the work because Dick was sick most of the year and had several surgeries, but we got it done. And we want to thank you very much for the award. It's beautiful. We never expected it. We just did it because we want to preserve Sonora.
Thank you.
The next award goes to Jeff and Gail Pedrick
great just meeting all the people, you know, walking by and talk and some gardening advice and stuff like that. So this is great. Thank you very much.
And the last award of the evening is to Steve and Stephanie Stewart. And are they here this evening? Yes, great. I haven't had the opportunity to meet the two of you, but their building is directly across from City Hall, and it's a very beautifully painted building, the way that you've done it, the way the design came out. So again, this is the Vision Sonora Award of Excellence for 2017 to Steve and Stephanie Stewart. Their building is 91 North Washington Street, and again, for caring to improve the appearance of historic downtown Sonora. So will you please come up and accept your award? Thank you very much. Thank you. Would you like to say something?
I don't have much to say. It was actually fun working on a property that you've seen a lot, and I would love for the rest of the community to kind of pick themselves up by the boots on any improper looking structures downtown. I think it's beautiful to drive to a place like Angels Camp downtown, and I'm trying to do my part to make our historic district look that way, especially right on Washington Street that's so populated. So that's what we did. Hopefully we succeeded. Thank you for the award.
You're welcome. Thank you. For those of you who don't know, we do these awards on a quarterly basis, so the next ones will be in April. If there are any buildings in the Vision Sonora footprint, which is most of historic downtown Sonora, we have nomination forms down at the bottom of the stairs that you can pick up and you can send in to nominate buildings that you feel should receive an award of excellence for our community. The next order of business is public comment. The public may address the council on any item of public interest not otherwise on the agenda that is within the jurisdiction of the city. No action may be taken. Matters to be addressed may be referred to city staff or placed on a subsequent meeting agenda. Speakers are limited to a 5-minute presentation. So if there's anyone that would like to speak to the council, please come forward.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. My name is Chris Day, and I'm from Friends of the Tuolumne County Library. And the reason I'm here tonight is to let you know about a fundraiser that we have, which will run the entire month of February, the 1st through the 28th of February. The Friends of the Tuolumne County Library, along with its chapters, have organized the Million Penny Challenge. We're challenging the community to raise, well, hopefully more than $1 million pennies, more than $10,000, to purchase children's and young adult books for the youth reading programs at Sonora, Maine, Tuolumne City, Twain Park, Groveland, and also the Bookmobile. Now, in November and December, we canvassed Sonora businesses asking for their support as sponsors for the project. And then recently, volunteers have been out canvassing the retail businesses to place collection jars for our $1 million pennies. And I have to say that the Sonora businesses have been fabulous, a wonderful response. Now, hopefully, we'll get the community to donate their pennies, loose change, and maybe even larger denominations. And all of those funds that we raise will be used for story time, summer reading program, Born to Read, Brainy Kids of Groveland, and children's literacy. So, may I answer any questions?
Any questions from the council?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
We have the penny posse, counting the rounding of all pennies.
All right. Okay,
The coin machine at Walmart, right?
please come forward.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Mandeep Raj, along with my all Indian community members. This evening to come here, we are going to, actually it's an appreciation dinner we are arranging for all the community. Basically, we are here to invite all the council members. We are going to do community cultural program, and it's gonna be 5 to 9 Saturday. And like to invite all the council members with their families, please come and join. And we like to appreciate it, whatever you guys done was accepted like a family. And we gonna, say the first one, we are a little late now, we are all getting together, we like to donate some more. And bring your family, friends, whoever you can bring, and we can, because make it more valuable, and it'll be our first one, and then the more to come.
Okay, and do you have to make a reservation?
Actually, it's open, and I have actually delivered all the invitation letters to all the chiefs of police, chiefs of Sonora Fire Department, chiefs of Sheriff Department, chiefs of there. Actually, matter of fact, today I just delivered about the highway patrol, and all the city members, council members with their families, and there's no pay, it's all dinner. It just basically to say thank you to all the Sonora committee and members, all the chiefs, everybody who accepted us like as a family.
Thank you very much.
And that's this Saturday, right?
That's this Saturday at the Sonora Opera Hall from 5 to 9 p.m. Mhm.
Please join us, it should be fun.
Yeah.
It'll be Indian music, Indian food, and all other games a little bit to play, and you get to know us a little bit. And we like to shake your hand, and your family's hand. I want to say thank you from all of us.
Okay.
Could I get you to spell your name?
Yes.
Sorry.
Are there any questions, council members?
What? Matthew.
We're happy to have you in the community.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you.
We appreciate it.
Thank you,
Thank you
Mr.
so
Rush.
much. And we will look forward to see everybody there.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Elena Linehan. I am the Prevention Programs Coordinator for the Mentoring Works program at APCA. I brought some information about Mentoring Works. I want you to know that Mentoring Works is celebrating its 20th year of serving our community. We've had over 300 youth that have been matched to caring adults to help them through those tough times in their life. We work with kids that are considered at-risk. People ask me what an at-risk kid is, and I say pretty much any kid alive today is probably at-risk. But these are the kids that are being raised by single parents. They're in foster care. They have absolutely wonderful parents, but they've been bullied. Various things that happen to these youth that gets them to a point where they really need someone to talk to, and they can't talk to their parent anymore. They can, but they need that extra outside person there for them. And our mentors volunteer over 5,000 hours a year to help the most vulnerable youth in our community. They do a wonderful job, and they have for the past 20 years. In April this year, with Volunteer Appreciation Week, we're going to host a reunion, trying to gather up as many of the mentors, and as many as the kids, and of course, their families and all of that, and see how many we can get together so they can reconvene and meet again. I want to let you know that this Thursday is Thank Your Mentor Day. And I challenge each and every one of you to stop and think about who was that person in your life when you were a little boy or a little girl, and that person who listened to you, who took time for you. Perhaps it was your parent. Perhaps it was the retired nurse across the street. Perhaps it was a youth minister, a Girl Scout leader, that coach in college or that coach in your sport. Somebody was there for you and turned you into the wonderful person that you are today. And what I'm asking you to do is this Thursday is take a time to remember that person and reach out to thank them. I did bring these cards that are little thank you cards. They're blank on the back side. You can put a stamp on the back. You have to have a first class stamp. It's too big for a postcard stamp. But write a little note and say, I don't know if I ever told you what an impact you made on me. And now I'm on city council, and it's all because of you. It might be that your third grade teacher is no longer alive, or you don't even remember how to find her, but you know where you went to school. You can write this note to your elementary school and say, I want to tell you the impact that teacher had on me. It might be that you don't remember what Tweety Bird's real name was because you always called her Tweety Bird instead of Mrs. Lambert when she was your Girl Scout leader. But you can write to the Girl Scout Council and tell them what an impact they had. Or if it was an aunt or an uncle, and maybe they're alive, you can call contact them and say, you know, I've always wanted to tell you what you meant to me, or text them, or phone them, or email them. And if they're no longer with us, call your cousin and say, I don't think I ever told you what your mom and dad meant to me. But take that moment to think of who that was, who made you you, that person who took time and really listened. And I'd appreciate you if you all think about who mentored you as a youth and pass that thank you on to them. So here are the cards. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and thank you for all you do for the youth here in the community. Seeing no other public comment, we'll move on to the consent calendar. Items on the consent calendar are considered routine and will be voted on in one motion unless a council member or member of the public has a question or wishes to discuss an item. In that case, the item will be removed from the consent calendar and considered separately. So I need a motion to approve the consent calendar. Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you.
Usually do so.
Yes, I do usually do that. Thank you. The approval of the following meeting minutes. City Council special meeting of December 13th, 2016. The City Council closed session meeting of December 19th, 2016. The City Council open session meeting of December 19th, 2016. Item number 2 is approval to pay invoices of previously budgeted expenses on July 18th, 2017. And number 3 is the approval of disbursements in the amount of $145,595.32 on December 22nd, 2016, and of $229,138.59 on January the 6th, 2017, for payroll inclusive of employee salaries, employer and employee taxes, and retirement contributions, and miscellaneous voluntary employee deductions.
I'll go ahead and move on the consent calendar.
I'll second that.
Any public comment? Then I'll bring it back to the council for a vote. All in favor? Aye. Passes unanimously. Item G, public hearings. We have none this evening. Any public comment? Item H, unfinished business. There's none. Any public comment? Item I, new business. And here she comes, rolling in.
It's Scooter Girl.
This is our community development director. She's getting her exercise pushing that cart around, but she's here. Thank you.
So, before you this evening is an agreement that has been put in place between Tuolumne Utilities District and the City of Sonora. This is the last part of the fire flow project that we received funding for through the CDBG grant. And during that project, we replaced 84 fire hydrants, and we also had one that they're going to accept into the system that was originally the responsibility of the city. So it actually ends up being a total of 85 fire hydrants that will be now taken over by TUD. They'll be responsible for the maintenance of them, repairs, replacement, and no longer will the city be in the fire hydrant business for these hydrants. The history is apparently when the water system was turned over to PG&E, for some reason the city held on to fire hydrants. And so for many years it's been the city's responsibilities. Mike Barrows was one of the ones that came to me when looking at a project that possibly could get rid of some of these hydrants, get them up to TUD standards, and get them off the city's responsibility books. And so we looked at this project and we were able to put it together. So under the project, like I said, we have 85 fire hydrants that now will be transferred over to TUD under the agreement, and along with the laterals that were replaced that were part of the city system. There's one hydrant, it's up on Bald Mountain, that they weren't able to abandon, but they will take it anyway, and later on they'll figure out how to get it off the water main, because that hydrant was put directly on top of the large water main, so they've got to shut everything down to get the hydrant off. So they're going to take it without us having to be responsible for that anymore. which is a good thing, because if somebody hit that hydrant, it would be a rather costly repair. And then the other one that wasn't replaced was up on Knowles Hill. There's an older hydrant there that eventually, when TUV upgrades the fire flow and the water system up there, that hydrant's gonna go away. So they didn't wanna have the city put a new hydrant there for a hydrant that was eventually not gonna be in that location. And currently, they use it right now to flush the water system up there, so they're accepting that as is, and we didn't have to upgrade that as part of the project. I asked that you approve the agreement. I worked with the Best and Krieger was the attorney that we worked with on drafting this agreement for the city's behalf, and they worked directly with TUD's attorney. TUD has already approved the agreement and executed it. We are asking that you approve and authorize the city administrator to sign this and any associated documents. And they revised it to add Tim's name. So unless you have any questions, like I said, this kind of wraps it up. When this is all done, Amy and I were just going over that to this afternoon. It looks like there'll be about 5 or 6 hydrants still left that will be under the city's responsibility, 2 of which have been hit by vehicles. So hopefully there's a way to get some reimbursement to get those replaced, which leaves 3. And then one of those, there's a total of 6. One of them would be abandoned. So that leaves 5. Hopefully the insurance will cover 2, and that would mean the city only has 3 more to do. And they're totally out of the fire hydrant business. But I leave that to the fire chief because she's the fire expert. I just did it because of the grant. This is my part. Now she can take over from here.
So we need to thank our former fire chief, Mike Barrows, for bringing this opportunity to the city, and thank staff for going after the CDBG dollars in order to replace all the hydrants and increase fire flow in many areas with the new laterals, correct?
As well as TUD staff, because they did the engineering, they did all the inspections for us and the designs.
Do we have anybody here this evening from TUD? I didn't think I saw anybody. Okay. Any questions for staff?
So Rochelle, when and if we upgrade our existing 5 old-fashioned, like this, fire hydrants at this point, the TUD automatically takes them over?
Yeah, that's what they did in the past. I recommended to Amy that she get a letter back from TUD stating that they both agree on what hydrants still remain in the city, and that once they're upgraded to standards, that TUD will accept them. That's what I would recommend.
How much does it cost to replace an old fire hydrant with a new one?
Under our project for just the hydrant, it was $2,000 per hydrant. But that was strictly for if the laterals didn't have to be replaced. And because of economies of scale, you're probably looking more at a $2,500 to $3,000 per hydrant to have somebody come in and replace them when you're only looking at a handful of them.
With the 3 that will be remaining, presuming, of course, that the insurance comes through and helps with the other portion, the other 2, do the laterals also have to be upgraded?
That's a question that I can't answer, and I'm not sure Amy can. I'll have to talk to TV first. But if the laterals have to be replaced, you're looking at closer to about $5,000.
So we'll look at the what it will take to replace the hydrants, what other upgrades would be required to do a transfer, bring that back to the council either as a separate item or as a part of next year's budget, because it's not funded right now. So we'll come up with a proposal and a cost and then have you consider that.
And the reason we couldn't include them in the CDBG grant was because we could only do projects, the project had to be in residential areas or serve residential areas of the city. So these hydrants are strictly commercial.
Thank you.
Any questions from the public?
Where did you put the old ones?
The old ones are already gone. The contractor took some of them back, but also I know the museum received one, I think the fire department received one. But yeah, that was part of they went back with the contractor. He disposed of them, except for the ones that got donated to different individuals.
I just want to make a comment. I was at the TUD meeting when this was discussed, and you might want to listen on Granicus because you got a lot of kudos. TUD. They had a lot to say about how cooperative the city was and how thankful they were and that everybody worked together. And I think you were able to do more with the dollars that you had than you first expected. And they went into a lot of detail about the Bald Mountain and Knowles Hill. So it was kind of interesting to listen to all that. So Eric was very thorough, so he should send you flowers.
I put them in my basket.
Well, it was a really good TUD City of Sonora project, and it will be very beneficial to the residents of the city with the new hydrants, and additionally to our firefighters, because they probably won't have to deal with the bees any longer that were up inside some of the. I don't remember what the hydrant is called. That was the square thing, but the bees would get up there and then they'd take it off to get to the water, and then there was a bee's nest. So anyway, so it's all good. So I need a motion to consider the approval of the agreement.
Well, Madam Mayor, I'd like to move to approve the transfer agreement and to authorize the city administrator to sign the agreement and related documents.
I'll second that.
Okay. I'll go ahead and call for the vote since we've already had public comment. So all in favor? Aye. Passes unanimously. Item number 2 is consideration to set a date and location for the annual council retreat. And I'll turn that over to City Administrator Miller.
Yes, good evening. We've suggested in the memo that was provided to you that the retreat be scheduled in mid-February, and in fact have picked Tuesday the 14th as a possible date. We would suggest also using the EOC room, the Emergency Operations Center room at the fire station. That seems to facilitate our retreats. It's large enough for the council and other participants. It's convenient as far as location. There's parking, and the room functions well for the kind of activities that we would have there. If you want to hold it somewhere else, we could certainly do that. But we would like direction from you as to a date and time. Typically, we start at 9 in the morning. We have a brief, kind of a continental breakfast thing, pre-meeting. We'll provide lunch during the day, but we would expect an event or an activity that would occur through most of the day. We've moved it from last fall to this time of year so the council can be a part of our budget deliberations. We'll be reviewing the status of the current year and looking for direction and priorities from the council for next year's budget. The staff and I will be actually meeting this week to go through a similar exercise as part of our staff retreat. The other things that have come up to date that the council's indicated they would like to have on the agenda include some suggestions by Harry Oles that include a mission statement and some strategic planning exercises, so we're anticipating that, as well as the budget matters that we would be talking about. And if we're going to look at the mission statement, we probably ought to revisit the city's existing vision statement. So those are topics that we've already identified. If there are other topics that the council have in mind, I'd ask that you get those to me and we can bring them back to your next council meeting and kind of formalize the agenda for the meeting. So tonight's action would be to confirm a date and time for the meeting. Meeting will be noticed as a special meeting since it's not one of your regular council meeting dates. So with that direction, we can go ahead and set a special meeting agenda in advance of the retreat. So if there's any questions, I'd be happy to try and respond to those.
Questions?
I guess you realize that's Valentine's Day.
I did, George, when it was suggested as that date. So if you would like to do something different to stay out of trouble.
Some of us married on the council might have some issues with that. I don't in particular.
I thought you were going to say something about.
Yeah, I thought that's where that was going to.
Hey, we're going to be finished before it's time for dinner.
Yeah, I mean, typically the retreat extends from 9 in the morning till around 4 in the afternoon. So I'd expect we'd use that same amount of time this time.
Okay, anything for staff? Does the date work for everyone? Everybody's good with the date? So that sounds like the date is good. Okay, public comment, please.
Just a question, is this the appropriate time to mention topics? Or would that be at a later meeting?
No, be appropriate time to mention topics.
Okay, I want to mention that last year, or the last time that I was at your retreat, you had the marijuana initiatives on there. There was a whole question at the time of what the state was asking for a decision from counties and cities regarding medical marijuana. And one of the outcomes of that discussion is that you wanted to wait and see what happened with Proposition 64. So now we all know what happened with Proposition 64. And it might be an appropriate time to start that conversation again. My own personal opinion is you're fine with the ordinance that you've got and you should keep it. But just because you laid some groundwork earlier last year and said you wanted to wait until what happened in fall to take any other further plans or action, it might be nice to put that period at the end of the sentence rather than leave it hanging. That was my suggestion, is that that might be too large of a topic for everything else, but I just wanted to make sure you had it more towards prep work.
We are actually going to have a workshop next Monday at 5 o'clock to discuss the Adult Use of Marijuana Act.
Excellent, is that right here?
Right here.
Right here.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
And it's a public meeting, so all are invited to attend that are interested.
Excellent, thank you.
Okay.
There is one other thing I wanted to mention. We had talked about, and it's not in my memo, but we had talked about doing a Brown Act session also for the council at our retreat, so I'll be sure to add that in.
Okay. All right, you've gotten direction.
So if we have consent, we do have consensus set on the date. All right.
Looks like it.
And the location. Thank you.
Okay. Included in the packet this evening are monthly reports from our Community Development Department, the Fire Department, the Police Department, the Public Works Department. Any questions about any of the reports for any of our city leaders? Any public comment? Item K is the Vision Sonora Committee report. There is no report this evening. The only thing to report is that the next meeting of the Vision Sonora Committee is January the 26th at 9 a.m. here at City Hall. Any questions? Any public comment?
Sorry, what was that?
January the 26th at 9 a.m. Item L is communications. We have none this evening. So we'll move on to item M, council member and department head reports. I'll start with Rochelle. Do you have anything else you'd like to roll up here and report to us?
Yes, I do.
All
It
right.
has to be good, or believe me, I wouldn't be rolling. By the end of the day, it takes me a while. So, this is kind of exciting because they've been able to raise several dollars for us over the last 2 years. And on February 19th is the 5K run for the Dragoon Gulch Trail expansion program. So it will be, they start down at Woods Creek Park at 8 o'clock sharp, and hikers, runners start at 8, hikers start at 8:05. And you can register on active.com starting now through the first week of February.
And the date again is?
It is February 19th, and that's a Sunday. And they go through the trail, the route that takes you through the trail, through down along Alpine, Calaveras, Bonanza, and back down to the Seventh-day Adventists by the church, and then they do a pancake breakfast there. So it's a fun event, and hopefully everybody will come out for it. So. And the proceeds are for the trail project.
And this is the third year, is that correct?
Third year.
And they have raised and given back to the city for the trail.
Close to $9,000.
for council members that don't know that, or for the general public, it's a great thing that they're doing for the Dragon Gulch Trail. And we can have more runs out there, and if any other organization would like to do that.
Yeah, and we did, as you know, we did complete the environmental. I wasn't here for that meeting, but it is done, so now we can start looking at building trails out there. So.
Great.
We'll call for sunshine that day.
Yeah.
We can count on it.
Okay. Ms. Callaway, anything from Administrative Services? Chief New, anything from the Fire Department?
I just wanted to publicly thank Rochelle for all the work she did on the CDBG grant. I wasn't here when Chief Barrow was obviously brought that forward to the city, but without the work that she's done, I mean, putting that grant together, if anyone has done any work on a grant, it takes a lot of time, a lot of hours to oversee that, and the work that she did, building the relationship with TUD to get that changeover, and then taking over the hydrants for the city. I just wanted to thank you, and then thank TUD for doing that as well. We're really excited to have these new hydrants, larger mains, and a better fire flow for the community overall. So thank you.
Thank you. Lieutenant Vanderweel, do you have anything for us this evening from the Police Department?
Nothing from the PD, thank you.
Okay. Anything from our City Council, from our City Attorney?
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to thank the council, the staff, and members of the public who attended our AB 1234 training earlier today. I hope it was informative and maybe cleared up a few questions that the council may have had about lingering ethical issues.
And for the general public that didn't attend and that are in the audience tonight and at home listening to this, what that assembly bill is ethics training for council members and appointed and those appointed to different commissions and committees. So thank you very much. How about from the city administrator? Anything tonight?
Just wanted to mention again that we are going to have the marijuana training on the 23rd. There's a sexual harassment training on February 6th at 2 o'clock. That's for appointed and elected officials and supervisory staff. That's a new requirement for elected and appointed officials, but it'll be held here in the council chambers at 2. And then we've already talked about the council retreat. So we're kind of busy with regular meetings and other trainings that we've got scheduled through the month of February.
Okay. Thank you. From the city clerk, anything tonight?
I have nothing, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mary Jane. All right, how about Council Member Hawkins?
Yes, I have something real quick. I believe it was Friday night, December 30th, I went on a really nice ride-along with the police department, stayed out to about 2 in the morning. And it's interesting going out, got to ride in one of the new Caprices, which I'm just completely in love with, being a car guy. But we were out on I guess it was like a drunken disorderly call, and an attorney came out that had been kind of hanging around the bar, but I guess was the bar's attorney or whatever, and gentleman that came out, there had been some issues. The attorney made sure to compliment our police officers that were handling the situation, and told the guy to basically be quiet because the police officers were being really good to him. So it's really nice to actually, to have an attorney come out and compliment our officers. So to me, that went a long way, and I know it went a long way with our officers. So that's all I got.
Great. Councilmember Plummer.
Nothing to talk about this evening.
Okay. Mayor Pro Tem Garaventa.
Attended the Mental Affairs Strategic Planning meeting on the 11th. I was a participant in part of that with the subcommittee chair. And that was a very nice, I think, successful meeting for those who attended. So hopefully things will start to really go positively, I think, in the future because of it. Attended the Yes Partnership on the 12th, and also attended the Motorload Martin Luther King event last Sunday at the high school auditorium, and I think it was the largest crowd yet. It was their 22nd annual event. So very good. That's it.
Councilmember Segarini.
On January 5th, I attended the ribbon cutting of the juvenile hall. That's quite a facility we now have in Tuolumne County for our youth. January 11th, also I did attend the Fair Board informational meeting. And I made a comment at the meeting suggesting that I was speaking for myself, but that I felt I had to support the city council members in regards to anything we can do for the fairgrounds and help them in their endeavors to get that back on track. That we were there as a city council to make sure that happened. Also on the 11th, I attended the Tuolumne County Transportation Commission meeting. On the 25th, we have our Merchants Town Hall City meeting. That's at 8 o'clock in the morning, right here in City Hall. Thank you.
All right, and the meetings I attended is, first of all, on December the 20th, several of us I know attended the Sonora Chamber and the Tuolumne County Visitors Bureau Christmas Mixer, which was very nicely done for all those who attended. I also attended the Juvenile Hall ribbon cutting. On January the 10th, I attended the Sonora Regional Medical Center's prayer breakfast, and also we had a Vision Sonora Design Committee meeting that day. And on January the 11th, I attended the Tuolumne County Chamber Transportation meeting, the Tuolumne County Transportation Council meeting, and the Tuolumne County Fair Board meeting. So, the next order of business, it looks like, is adjournment. So I will, at this time, adjourn the Sonora City Council meeting at 5:44 p.m. And thank you all who attended.
That's what I said too. Now to go get the kids.
Short meeting, but long day cumulatively.
Yes.
Yes.
Cool. I shall see you later.
All right, Matt.
Really? He's involved.
He said it was life-changing for him.
Really? That's
Become a member. One easy, cheap way to support the local library.
that's interesting that you said that, because John was he's almost shy. A lot of times we go into pharmacy. Anyway, well, that's interesting.
Yeah, you can.
Closes the doors in 26.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Incompetent, out of place. That's the whole purpose of it. So,